Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, September 12th. They're calling for a high of 29 here today. I'm taking the day off from work and I've got a whole bunch of stuff I want to do. I got a guest gardener coming in on Saturday to pick cucumbers for himself. He might grab a cabbage or two. I've decided to maybe clear out this pea fence here. It'll give him a little more room to pick. Plus it kind of looks nasty. I might remove these tomatoes as well. Just pull them out and cultivate it and make it look a little more appealing. Also, the cabbage dome isn't really doing much of anything. You can see the net is totally opened up there. I haven't really paid attention to the cabbage dome since I had my major cabbage harvest. There's 3 cabbages left. Well, there might be some of them left. The worms are in there severely. The moths were getting trapped inside the mesh. It's not doing anything. I'm just going to take it out of there. I got a major chickweed problem here with my peas. I put this stone edging here at the grass, at the edge of the grass, to keep the garden contained a little bit. And the dirt I dumped in there was just loaded with seeds. Every time I went to go and weed my peas, I ended up pulling out the peas, so I just decided to leave it for the summer. And I'm going to deal with that today as well. I used to take my vines out every year and just throw them on my truck and take them to the compost. I've got just a regular town-sized lot here. I don't really have the room for a compost pile, so that's what I used to do, is take it in to the municipality and let them compost it. Now what I do is I bought on Kijiji a Woodchipper for $200 and I chip it all up and incorporate it back into the soil. You can make stuff disappear and it makes it nice and black and everything goes back in the dirt. I tried one year to use my lawnmower to chop things up, and I can tell you from experience, don't waste your time. It just makes a big mess and doesn't really do much. Anyways, you can see it's pretty crowded there by the cucumbers, so I guess by taking the pea fence out, I'll give my friend there a little bit more room to pick his cucumbers. Before I fire up the shredder, I guess I'll get rid of this cabbage dome. It's just an eyesore and it hasn't done anything for me in a month. I stand by my opinion that the netting is the best way to go to defeat the cabbage moths. The rules are simple, really. If you have holes in your netting, you're going to have holes in your cabbage, so this won't happen next year. I plan on being a little bit more diligent about the netting. This is a 5 horsepower chipper shredder I got from Kijiji for pretty wise investment, 200 bucks I think. Now I know a lot of you are probably thinking that it makes a lot of noise and it's a polluter. I figured the amount of gas this thing burns in the few hours that I use it a year is less than what it would take me to haul the stuff to the compost place with my truck. It works really good. I could take a big batch of vines and run it through this machine and then cultivate it under, and my dirt is just as black as it has to be, and it's ready to go for the next year. One pet peeve of mine of this thing, I guess, is that it has difficulty drawing fuel when you first fire it up. I haven't run it in a year, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to take the spark plug out and dump a little bit of gas in it. I wish it had something like this. A primer like that, so that it could get fuel the same way that my small cultivator does. This thing here has a chute there. That would be for sticks. This thing is supposed to be able to do sticks like 1.5 inches in diameter, although I wouldn't really recommend it. It's only 5 hors. The corn stalks go in there nicely, and the bigger vines I'll throw in the other hopper. The green stuff kind of has trouble feeding through. The dry stuff is drawn in by the air created by the blades, whereas the green stuff needs to be pushed in. I use corn stalks to push it through. Or if I don't have the corn ready to use, I'll just use a piece of wooden lath. Maybe I'll try starting this thing and maybe I'll get lucky, but I doubt it. Comes with a bag, but I don't use it.
What's this?
That's the results of 3 piles, and now what I'll do is I'll just rake it around a little bit and cultivate it in. I got another pile or 2 left here. Anyway, I'll move the machine, I'll spread that mulch around, and I'll work it in. As you can see, this little cultivator is not getting it. What's happening, I think, is that the weeds are getting caught up on these little baby tines on it. This cultivator has its uses, but I don't think this is one of them. I'm going to burn out to my overflow garden today, and I guess when I come back I'm going to get my big one in there. This ground is hard packed and the other one is heavier and it goes deeper. And when I go over this mulch material, it'll work it in nice. This isn't working very good with this little guy. So anyway, I'll see you guys out at the overflow garden and I'll show you a disaster out there. She's 28 degrees right now, but it could freeze any time. I wanted to clear out my garage. I want to make room for my vehicle, so I'm dumping this out at my parents'. I'm going to dump out my compost here too. Here's the parents' compost pile. Now I forget what these flowers are. These are kind of a weed slash flower, but they're kind of nice looking. I've actually planted them at my house. I had them there one or 2 years, and they've seed all over the place. A poor man's something or other, I can't remember. Okay, we're out here at the overflow garden here. This garden, I guess somebody must have taken pity on me here. They did maybe a little bit of rotavating here. I'll beat these weeds down today. What we're looking at here is an asparagus that sat in a pot for most of the summer. I finally dumped it out here, so we'll see if that takes off. I didn't have a place for it at my place, so I can always transplant it if I dream up a spot for it next year. I'll have to rotivate all these weeds. What you're looking at here is a pumpkin plant. I actually intended to come out here and pull all of my vines. I knew that they were infected with a fungus. It rained like 25 days out of the 30 in June, and it was very humid for the other days, and it carried over into July. Left untreated sitting out here. But you know what? I got a pumpkin coming there, and I've got some spaghetti squash coming. The vines look really terrible for the most part. I'm going to see what it does. So I guess I'll leave most of these vines in. I don't even know what that's growing, but I guess we'll see what it turns out to be. It could be, I think it could be a spaghetti squash. Man, I'll tell you what, it is hot and dry out here. This section here along the bush, I don't think I'll plant much of anything there next year. Maybe I'll just use this as a buffer zone between the trees and the garden. Might be a good spot for squash vines to spread out or something like that, but it's so dry there that the weeds weren't even growing that much. You can see the corn is even a little bit tough shape kind of towards the trees. This corn is pretty short, but it's got some nice ears coming out. I'm gonna pick the cucumbers here right away. We'll see what we get. Why am I picking cucumbers when I got a guy coming to my own garden to pick them? Well, I can't stand to waste them. I'm gonna take them to my sister's. I'm sure she'll make something with them. I'm heading out there tomorrow. And these 3 little guys are definitely spaghetti squash, that small wonder. I'm gonna take that ripe one home. It's very small actually, even for small wonder, but I'm gonna take it anyway. And these 3 as well, I'm guessing are small wonder. I'll probably take the ripest one home as well. And same with those 2. Pumpkin is starting to ripen. I kind of did a rudimentary watering here just to kind of keep things going. We could get frost in a few days. Here's my poor asparagus out there. I watered it too. Anyway, I predict it'll survive. I'll pick the cucumbers and I'll check the corn, and we'll get back to you later. Anyway, here is what I got. Kind of a meager harvest here, considering the number of plants. I don't know, maybe a less than a half a bag full, but they'll get used up. These are fresh vines here, and you can see they're really stressing out from the lack of moisture. It's all bonus anyways. These cucumbers were just an accident. Anyway, let's go check the corn. That looks ready to me. The silks look the right color. Might even be too late here, but better too late than never. Yeah, definitely gonna have to pick some corn here today. And you know what the beauty is here is my parents are away on holidays and they were coveting my corn, and guess what? They're not here. Anyway, yeah, we're all smiles here. I got 18 ears of corn out of the 39 plants that I planted here, so there's still some corn left for the parents. Anyway, that'll do it for the overflow garden here. I want to pack up this beast and head back to my own garden and finish up there. I'll see you back at the ranch. Holy distracted driving, Batman. I'm about an hour north of Edmonton. You can see she's a nice day today. Well, it just goes down forever. I hate it. We're really cooking now. Anyways, I brought old Blister home. Hopefully it'll work better than the small cultivator. Let's get started. So anyway, that's there it is. Hopefully the garden looks a little more presentable for my gardening friend coming on Saturday to pick cucumbers. A little more presentable. There was a volunteer dill there. I snapped it off earlier this year. This guy's going to take all my dill out front as well. We'll see if he spots that one and harvests it as well. I'm about played out, but I'll do a quick tour. I got 3 cabbages left there. Some nasty looking Brussels sprouts, 3 cabbages. Potatoes are played out. The only potato tops with life in them yet are between the corn and the parsnips, and those are my Russian banana potatoes. They take more time. This, of course, is where my garlic was. I still have bush beans, as you can see. I've harvested twice, 2 or 3 crops of, 2 or 3 pickings of peppers, and I should pick again here. Get them before everything else gets them. This weekend I'll probably do that. Lots of Roma tomatoes hiding in there. The slugs have been helping themselves this year. Here's the last remnants of Primo Red tomatoes. They're just about played out. I should have yanked them today, but I just didn't feel like it. Of course, the cucumbers are doing well. Here's a couple more Roma tomatoes in there. So the Romas are doing quite good right now. They haven't played out. I have I would say a very good harvest of onions coming. Here's my boot. You can see how big they are. They're pretty big, and the tops are flopping over. There's a double. I planted doubles together this year, and you can see you don't really have to split them apart. When they're in the same cell, they grow just fine. There's another double over there. And those bulbs are like 3-4 inches across. I have a few of these yellow onions. These are called Ricochet, and they're generally a good onion. If you follow my videos, you'll see I had a bit of failure this year with them trying to get 3-year-old seed to germinate. Anyway, bumper crop of onions again. This is the same variety of corn I just harvested at my parents' place. You can see the plants are taller. I checked this corn here. 4 or 5 days ago it wasn't even close to ready. Well, you know, this could be ready. Yeah, this corn is ready. So I should be maybe picking a bunch of this here. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll pick it all tonight that's ready. Good morning, it's Friday the 13th. It's 20 after 7 in the morning. I must be out of my mind. Anyway, the plan I have for today is to go to the lake, but before I do that, I want to make tomato sauce. I want to harvest peppers and process them and freeze them. I also got to harvest as much corn as I can possibly deal with as well. Oh, and I gotta get some dill for my sister too for them cucumbers for yesterday. So I guess I better get at her. I've harvested these peppers about 3 times this year. This will probably be the 4th. Let's see what we get today. Got some nice marbled peppers there. A few of these I'm gonna chuck in my tomato sauce this morning as well, and then cut up and freeze the rest. Yeah. The object is to make some of these disappear this morning. Okay, so I got another bag full of peppers, and I also have a few peppers that I'm going to throw in my tomato sauce. In addition to the 18 ears of corn I got yesterday out at my parents', I harvested the majority of my corn here in my garden at home. This is a tall tub. I'll have to count them up, see how many we got. I got about 75% of them harvested. There's the secondary ears still left out in the garden. Okay, so I had 38 plants in my garden and I got 36 ears on this harvest. Here's the 18 ears of corn from yesterday. I'm going to blanch and freeze those. My lovely wife was shucking the corn while I was busy making tomato sauce. And here's the majority of the corn from my regular garden here at home. Of course, I'm going to save a bunch here for tonight for supper time. Okay, so this morning I made 4 pints of tomato sauce. I froze, blanched and froze 48 knobs of corn, and we had corn for dinner tonight, and it was awesome. And the cucumbers that I picked, we made into Hungarian dills. I might post a recipe sometime. Just a gentle reminder to everybody, when you do your processing, don't over tighten the lids, otherwise they'll kink and bend on you. My sister's got gorilla arms and she over tightened them. But what you can do here, I'll share a little tip with you. If your lids are over tightened and your jars aren't exploded and your lids are all kinked up and stuff, what you do is you just reheat some lids, take your jars out of the bath, then put your new lids on with softened rubber rings, right? You've heated them up. The new lids have been heated up. Then you put them on with your gorilla arms and they'll seal and you don't have to process again. There's enough heat in the jars, it'll cause them to reseal.